name is Tor Fox and I'm a consumer contact centre advisor with Gateshead Citizens Advice. So I currently work part-time, so I work 21 hours per week over 3 days, and I've been in this role for 3 years, so since May 2017. Primarily as a role, I would answer consumer queries over the phone or via email. So I'd be contacted by a client and then I would take down all of the information that they gave me, use that information to then pair it up with the relevant legislation that would apply to their situation, and then basically break that down to explain to them on a practical level what they would need to do next. We also work in partnership with trading standards, so we would report all of that information through to them. So if there's like criminal activity, etc., that would all get fed to trading standards, and different levels of issue would have different protocols. So if it's somebody who's really vulnerable, like an elderly person who's been scammed on their doorstep, then it may be where I would make a call directly through trading standards, who would then go to the premises and speak to the client. Also, because I've been doing the role for quite a long time now, so I'm quite experienced in it, I also help with the new starters that come in now, and also so I would floor walk for them. So when they were on their initial calls, if they need advice, they'll come to me and just double check that they're telling a client the right thing. Empathise with a client. So as an advice service, we do have to remain impartial, but we can often get calls, as I've mentioned, regarding really vulnerable people. So it's really important to be able to empathise with their situation. On a more practical level, multitasking is really important, that ability, because you have to type as a consumer is talking to you, and you also have to be able to pull out the relevant parts of the story that could then impact on what legislation would be appropriate. You also need to be able to retell a consumer the law in a manner that they can digest. So obviously everyone, you might experience somebody who has learning difficulties, or if somebody is particularly vulnerable or distressed, you need to be able to sort of put the law into bite-sized chunks for them to be able to understand, and then give them practical advice on what their next steps should be. I had a degree in English, but then I didn't really have a plan of what I was going to do once I left university. I started working in retail and worked my way up in retail and was a retail manager for a long time. And then I adopted a little boy and I wanted to start working part-time. And I also made the decision to want to work for a something that I felt was more to help other people, rather than sort of the more corporate environment I've been in. And then just by chance, the job came up as a consumer advisor, and I applied for it. So that's kind of how I came into it. So my background's quite different to what I'm doing, what I was doing to what I'm doing now. Working for a charity is something to be really proud of. So if you are thinking of going that route, you should really look into what the charity stands for and what their values are. I did that before I applied for the job. I had a look at Citizens Advice to see what things they did and what their values were, and they really aligned with mine, so that was really important for me. And I think if you're going to be part of an organisation and work for them, you really need to have an alignment with their values. So you really need to take that on board. The other thing is make sure, from a very job interview style sounding way, just try and be really confident when you're talking to clients. For my role, obviously I talk to people all the time, so you need to be really confident and deliver really good customer service. Maintaining a really calm professional manner can be really important, because we often get people who are very angry by the time they get to us because they're having a dispute with a trader, or they felt that they've been ripped off. So you being really calm and professional helps in those situations. And also making sure you have some experience with IT systems like Word, using emails, word processing skills, that side of things from quite a practical level.